Hi everyone, this is David Ahlund from Roland Europe, and I'm here today to show you the SE-02, which is our first analog boutique synth. So really excited about that. Boutique means, of course, the format is the same as the other boutiques, and you can fit it on a DK01 dock or the K25 keyboard as well. This is the first in our designer series that we call it, and this one was designed in collaboration with Studio Electronics. So a really nice collaboration there with some massive analog sounds and, of course, built-in effects and all kinds of features that I want to show you in a bit. Now, one of the key features with the SE-02, for me at least, is the fact that it's very, very dynamic. So what does that mean? Basically, it's velocity sensitive, it responds to aftertouch, modulation, pitch bend, and so on. So for instance, we have a very simple single oscillator sound here. And as you can hear, I can change the velocity or the filter with my velocity, but also via aftertouch. And of course, the usual pitch bend, and we can also manipulate the filter or the pitch or various LFO settings with the modulation bar. So let's have a listen to a few sounds. Of course, this ranges from really modern sounding to very vintage. So we can have a listen to some basses here. So again, the velocity sensitivity in the bass. Or some more kind of vintage sounding funky bass. Tweak it a little bit. So a really nice sounding filter there as well. It also has a key follow as well if you want that. Now we can go to more, I don't know, this kind of sound. I really like the plasticky sort of bubbly sounds. And we also have the feedback function, which is essentially an overdrive or a distortion. Now if you combine this with the filter changes, you can get some really aggressive sounds going on. And also we can have a look at some leads. You can also hear the white noise oscillator as well. Or if you want the more sort of 70s vintage style sounds. If you're into sort of R&B kind of stuff. And if you're more into 90s hip hop, really nice for that as well, if you want to do that for some reason, I don't know. And also, of course, we can sync the oscillators in here, so we can get really nice sync leads. And if we combine these things, like I said, we have 3 oscillators, and we have noise oscillator and feedback and effects as well. So if you combine all these features, you can get really nice lead sounds or solo sounds. So that was just a handful of the sounds, but we actually have 512 sounds in here, 3 preset banks, and also 1 user bank. Now let's go into some interesting details. Like I said, we have 3 oscillators, feedback, noise oscillator, all kinds of standard stuff like LFO, filter, envelope, and so on. But I want to show you something unique, which is the sequencer. So we have a quite funny sequencer in here. You can store up to 128 different patterns, all with their own tempo and own sound assignments. We have 16 steps here, but also we have a bunch of different playback modes and parameter changes we can do and so on. Of course, first we'll need an actual sequence. So I'll just put some notes in just by holding the buttons here. Something basic. And I will play it back. But that's just the beginning, of course. So now we can change all kinds of things. So if I go to parameter here, for instance, I can actually change the filter or any synth parameter on any step. So I'll just tweak the cutoff filter a little bit. Just go up and down. Maybe even, I don't know, effect parameters. Okay. And now we'll play it back. And now you can hear all kinds of random stuff happening. There's also more than that we can do. So if I go to performance mode here, I can actually change the playback direction as well. So you just heard a pattern, now we can play it backwards. Or we can play it back and forth. So, and then back. And finally, my favorite, which is random. So if I just press random, it's going to jump completely randomly between the steps. And finally, in regards to the sequencer, we also have the trigger input on the SE-02. So this means I can send a trigger signal from anywhere and have it trig the sequencer step by step. In this case, I've chosen my trusty old TR-09. So we have a trigger output here. And I'm going to play back the TR-09, and then I'm going to start sequencing the trigger signal and have it trig each step individually on the SE-02. And you'll hear what that sounds like. Right, so that's a quick overview of the SE-02. So a 3 oscillator synth with feedback function, key follow filter, all kinds of filter modulations, built-in effects, also a built-in audio interface via micro USB actually. And of course a very interesting sequencer that can do a lot of things outside the box, so to speak. Yeah, that's the SE-02, and please check it out.